it to you. Fuck, wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up the door, it's real. Let the non-stop pop out from stainless steel.
What is up, Gotcha Backers? Shady here, and since I've been playing 7 Days to Die again, this time on Alpha 15, I've been grinding a lot more of those skills in an effort to conserve my points. I'm being a little more strategic this time around, and I'm not just throwing points all over the place. You can just dump all those points into tool and weapon crafting, but I think by grinding those skills out as much as you can, it affords you the luxury of taking other beneficial skills. For example, the Fixer, which will come into play later on, and that will end up being a big time saver as the game continues. To level up my weapon crafting skill, I crafted wooden bows all the way up to around weapon quality 400. I'd go out and chop down some trees and gather a bunch of plant fiber using a knife or bone shiv. Yeah, the knife is slower at gathering the plant fiber, but you are leveling your knife skill at the same time when you do this, and that skill will allow you to harvest more meat from animals. I would then queue up as many wooden bows as I could, and as they finished crafting, I'd then drop them down on the ground and let them despawn. Now, I know someone is going to ask, why not scrap the bows? And the reason why, it is much faster just dropping them down. You have to realize to level to 400 quality this way, it's going to take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bows. If I was to scrap each one of them, I'd have to queue up 4 or 5 bows, then scrap those, and then queue up 4 or 5 again. It's just easier and faster to drop them, and when you do scrap them, you don't get any plant fiber back anyways, and wooden fiber are not resources you have to scour the countryside to find. Once the bow quality is up around 400, it then becomes kind of counterproductive to craft these anymore. I think it was taking around 15 bows to get 1 quality point increase. At that point, I switched over to reinforced clubs. For the clubs, I did scrap those since it does take 100 iron to make them, and if you scrap them, you get 75 iron back. That is a substantial amount of materials you get back. So I've queued up 4 or 5 reinforced clubs and scrapped them, repeating this process all the way up to 100 crafting skill. This is the first 500 quality item I've ever crafted in all the time I played in 7 Days to Die. I thought this was pretty awesome and I was pretty excited about it. For tools, I used the exact same process as the wooden bows with stone axes, crafting and dropping all the way up to around 400 quality. Again, around that 400 quality mark, it starts taking a lot of stone axes to level. The issue with tool crafting is, though, there is no other cost-efficient tool to craft after the stone axe to get you to that 100 mark. The rest of the tools require forged iron, and I just don't think that's a very good trade-off to be losing that much forged iron to get the remainder of those points. So I decided to go ahead and spend the 30 points here to get 100 tool crafting. Now the next thing I want to do is to get my steel smithing up to level 3. And that's going to require construction tool 70. The predicament I was in is that my base was pretty much complete. If it was not finished, I could just go ahead and keep building, and I would eventually get my construction tools to 70. But the only thing left for me to do here right now is to concrete the blocks over, which requires the cement mixer, which requires mechanical parts to craft, which requires steel smithing 3, which requires construction tools 70. You are kidding me. To get around this, you need a wrench. I already have looted one, so if you come across a wrench, hang on to that. You could also check the traders to see if they have a wrench for sale. To craft both the cement mixer and the workbench, it's going to require 30 mechanical parts. And you can use the wrench to disassemble cars, AC units, and office chairs to get those parts. I would not recommend disassembling cars for mechanical parts. They just don't drop very often off of those. But you're still going to need to hit those cars till you do get an engine for that cement mixer. AC units and office chairs are definitely the way to go to get mechanical parts. And if your wrench does break before you get the 30 you need, hopefully you did get at least 4. If you were able to get at least 4 mechanical parts, just grab some forged steel and make your way over to any workbench They can be found at the trader stations or in various buildings located throughout the map. Once you're at that workbench, just craft yourself a new 500 quality wrench with your newly leveled up tool crafting. With that 500 quality wrench, it should be no issue getting the 30 required parts. It's just a matter of locating AC units. I now have both the cement mixer and the workbench built, and now that I have the mixer, I can make concrete and continue leveling up my construction tools. Next thing I'm going to do is craft 5 crossbows. Once I have those, I'm going to go to the workbench, place 2 crossbows into the combined area to the right, and then select the higher quality bow and select equip. Now I'll take that higher quality bow, combine it again with another crossbow, repeating this process until I have a 600 quality crossbow. Now I'll just begin crafting steel tools and repeating the same steps until all my tools are 600 quality. Now that I've grinded up my tools and my weapon crafting, and I have 600 quality tools and weapons, with all those points that I saved, I'm going to take all 5 levels of the Fixer perk. This will cut my repair time by 50%, the materials used by 50%, but the biggest advantage to this perk is that it's going to decrease quality loss by 50% on repairs. This is going to extend the life of those high quality weapons and tools. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really want to be crafting 6 pickaxes every time and combining them to get 1. Did this entire process take a long time? Yeah, it took hours and hours. I actually lost track of time, and I definitely would not recommend this path for the casual player. But with that being said, now that they are starting to introduce an economy into the game with the addition of merchants and the vending machines, I feel like this should be the only path to get to those higher weapons and tools. It probably should even take a longer amount of time and require more effort than just dropping points into the skill. And I even would not be opposed to having to level up each individual weapon and tool. Let me know your thoughts on the leveling system for crafted items. Do you guys like it the way it is with the option of just dropping points into it? Or do you think the only way to level those up should be the long way? I hope you found this video useful. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, later.
Nice.